The same steel shielding a soldier's chest, holding up a bridge, or slicing sparks in a factory, began as nothing more than a stubborn, lifeless rock hidden in the earth, silent for millions of years until flames hotter than the sun tore it open and gave it a second birth. Because that's what this story is, a rebirth, the fiery path from ore to armor, and it begins in places few of us will ever see. Deep mines where darkness presses like a weight, and men descend with only lamps and drills, pulling out jagged pieces of iron ore that, to an untrained eye, look dull, heavy, and useless. But inside those chunks is trapped the backbone of civilizations. Centuries ago, blacksmiths would smelt small piles of ore in clay furnaces, feeding wood and charcoal to push the fire high enough to coax metal from stone. A slow, smoky ritual. But today, the process is magnified to an almost violent scale, where enormous blast furnaces stand like giants, swallowing tons of ore, coke, and limestone, mixing them into a chemical battle that tears impurities apart. And out of that roaring chaos emerges molten iron glowing orange and white, flowing in channels like rivers of lava, alive, hot enough to burn flesh instantly, carrying within it the promise of strength but also the memory of destruction, because fire always takes before it gives. But raw iron is not enough. It's fragile, brittle, a giant with weak bones, and that's where steel enters, forged not just by heat, but by control, by balance, by discipline, as carbon is carefully added, not too much, not too little, shaping the very personality of the metal, because too much carbon makes it hard yet breakable. Too little makes it soft and weak. So steelmakers dance in between, adjusting chemistry like alchemists, crafting a substance that can bend without breaking, resist without surrendering, and once that molten steel is ready, it's poured into molds, solidifying into ingots that look cold but still carry heat inside, and then begins the punishment. Because steel only becomes strong when it's beaten, stretched, rolled, pressed again and again, like a warrior in training who must endure pain to build resilience. And every strike of the hammer, every turn of the roller adds scars and memory to the metal, giving it toughness that raw rock never had. In giant mills, glowing slabs are rolled into sheets so thin you could bend them, or so thick they can carry skyscrapers, sparks shooting like fireworks as machines scream and steel groans. And yet, if you listen closely, it's like the metal is alive, resisting, yielding, then hardening again, until at last it's ready to take shape. Some of it forged into beams, some into weapons, some into armor. And here's where the story takes a darker, more human turn. Because armor is not just metal, it's protection, it's survival, it's the thin line between life and death. And the idea that the same earth that gave us stone also gives us the shield to withstand steel itself is almost poetic. Think of medieval knights, their armor hammered piece by piece in smoky forges, each curve shaped by hand, each plate tested in combat. Heavy suits that turned men into moving fortresses. But compare that to modern ballistic armor. Lightweight steel plates hidden in vests that stop bullets traveling faster than sound. The difference is staggering. Yet the essence is the same: fire, pressure, and transformation. And steel's path doesn't stop at armor. It continues into every corner of our lives. Cars, ships, railways, turbines, even the surgical tools that save lives in hospitals, all carry within them the echo of fire and ore, the memory of that blazing path. But most people never stop to think about it. They see steel as cold, ordinary, industrial. Yet it's one of the most human materials we've ever created, because it mirrors us. It starts fragile, raw, full of impurities, then goes through fire, pressure, struggle, and only then emerges stronger, refined, and ready to protect or build. And here's the untold part, the part rarely spoken about. Every batch of steel has its own character, its own story, because no two ores are identical. No furnace burns the exact same way twice. and the microscopic structure of the metal remembers that journey. Tiny crystals aligned or misaligned by the way it cooled, the way it was beaten, giving it strengths and weaknesses unique to its birth, which means that somewhere in the world there are bridges, ships, and armors that carry inside them a silent, invisible history only metallurgists can read. And yet we all depend on it every single day without realizing. So next time you see sparks flying from a welding torch, or stand beneath a tower of steel, or watch a soldier strap on a vest, think about the silent stone that became fire, the fire that became molten rivers, the rivers that hardened into slabs, the slabs that were beaten into strength, and the strength that became protection. Because behind that transformation lies something more than industry, more than manufacturing. It's a story of endurance, of survival, of the earth itself reshaping into a shield. And that's what makes steel's journey from ore to armor not just a process, but a legend, untold, yet eternal. And as you stand here listening, you might realize that you yourself carry the same story inside. Born fragile, tested by fire, beaten by life, yet capable of turning into something unbreakable, something stronger than before, and that Yar is the fiery path that makes both steel and us truly indestructible.